Hello, my name is Chloe. Welcome to Jammy Weekend, where I make all of my products right here in my bedroom. Also, please excuse my voice. I have the cold at the minute. And you know that thing that happens when you get the cold and your ears go all weird? And I've tried popping them and they literally won't pop. So if I'm talking weird or if I'm talking too quietly, I literally can't hear out of my ears. Also, I'm wearing like this Christmas jumper because it's Christmas, and I have like a top on underneath it, and it's like I feel like it's choking my neck. But anyway, this is not what you clicked on the video for. You clicked on the video for craft market tips. So brief history of me if you don't know me. My name is Chloe. I run Jammy Weekend. I make quirky, colourful accessories, stickers, pins, earrings, everything like that. And I've been doing craft markets since 2021. So almost 4 years now, which is kind of crazy. And I've learned a lot in my, that's right, yeah, 4 years. Oh my god, my maths. 4 years. I've learned a lot in doing craft markets. I've had good craft markets, I've had bad craft markets. So let's get into some tips. My first tip I have is use the height on the table. Don't have everything flat on the table, because if someone's walking past, you know, they'll have to like look down and it's just not as appealing to the eye. So this is what my stall looked like when I started, and this was my last market that I did. Big difference. So I love these wooden stands. I got mine in Debenhams online because they were having this sale, but you can also get them on Amazon. I've linked some below. And I also really like them because they have like ridges in them. So say you have like one pair of like dungaree earrings up top. I sell a lot of dungaree earrings, and then you can have backstock behind it rather than just having one on display, you know, on the table, and then a bunch in box underneath the table. It just makes it a lot easier. Also, having the ridges really help them just stay in place. They're not flying about the table if there's like the tiniest wee bit of wind. Tip number 2 is talk to the other stall holders. Get there early, meet your neighbours. A lot of craft markets normally advise you to get there 1 to 2 hours before it starts. I like to get there 2 hours, 10 minutes before. I will be there ready to go, especially because you don't know what the traffic's going to be like. You don't know what the public transport is going to be like, if the tube will be down, if the bus will be down. Just get there as early as you possibly can. Also, it means if you're there early, you can get a chance to set up quickly, talk to your stall neighbours, introduce yourself, get their name. You know, you're going to be standing there 8, 9, 10 hours. So if you know their name, know a bit about them, it's just going to make the day go a lot easier. And also, it's so nice to just support each other. Also, if you get there early and set up, if you're by yourself especially, then you can go and have a wee nosy around the market, see what everybody else is selling, you know, get in any wee purchases, which I know I'm guilty of, betting the profits before I've even made my table back, just before the market starts, you know, before it's open to the public, because a lot of the times you barely get a chance to pay, never mind going and having a wee nosy around. Also, it's just nice to go around, take everyone's wee card, follow them on Instagram, stay connected, and then just support each other. Especially posting on social media is hard, so, you know, just be there for each other. Tip number 3 is to have business cards. I know this might seem like such an obvious tip, like you're probably saying that, Chloe, obviously I'm going to have a business card, but make sure you even take enough business cards, because I've had situations before where I've had over 100 business cards and I've been like, oh, this is way more than I need, and I've ran out of business cards, and then I've had to like awkwardly tell people my business name, and then yeah, make sure you have enough. I also have these specific cards that I take to markets, which will give customers just a small discount on their first order on my website, as I'm really trying to direct all UK and Ireland customers to my Shopify compared to my Etsy. And I just make these at home on my printer, so I just print them out. Obviously I will just, you know, use like a cutting machine to cut them out, and then here's the QR code. If you want, you can scan this, it'll take you to my website, and then if you want 10% off, there's a 10% off code for my Shopify. You could also put a QR code up for your Instagram or your YouTube. You don't have to have it linked to your shop, or you can have it linked to a Linktree. I use Card personally, but I mean, it's just the exact same thing as Linktree, really. Also, please don't get disheartened if people don't take your business cards. As I say, I had a market where I was going to say sold out, they're free, where I ran out of business cards, but I did a market at the beginning of this month and I was going, oh my goodness, it's Christmas, it's going to be absolutely crazy. I made like 200 plus cards for people to take, and I didn't give out one card. And I kept saying to people as they were walking past, I was like, would you like to take a wee card? No, you're okay, thank you. So you can't be disheartened, it just is what it is. I also pop in one of the wee cards whenever someone buys something. I just put it in the bag. Even though all of my earring cards have my social media on the back, I just like to include a wee card just, as a wee thank you. Tip number 4 is to have clear prices. Some people might not want to ask, oh, sorry, excuse me, how much is this? Maybe they just don't want to have social interaction that day, or maybe they're worried about it being out of their budget and then feeling awkward. So I individually price every single item with just a bit of washi tape, and then I just write the price on it. The only thing I don't individually price are my pins, just because I have about 700 pins, but I have a massive sign in the middle of the stand that says all pins £6.50, and I do get people asking all the time, how much are your pins, how much are your pins? So I don't know if in 2025 maybe I should individually price my pins, but it's not people's fault. Like, they're looking at the pin, do you know what I mean? They're not looking around, but I try and make it as big as I possibly can, and I don't mind telling people the price. But yeah, it just stops any awkwardness. People can pick it up. I've had situations where people will literally have a browse, they can see the earrings are £14 or £16, they'll pick it up and go, can I get this please? They don't have to ask, they don't have to say anything, just do that, and then they pay, and that's the transaction over. It's also a good tip to have everything individually priced, because if you need to run to the toilet and you don't have anyone with you, like a partner or a family member or a friend, then one of your stall neighbours will be able to make a sale for you, especially if it's in cash. Someone picks it up, they can take a look at it and go, yep, £14, put it in a wee bag, and there's, they don't have to worry about trying to remember, oh, the pins are this price and that the earrings are this price. They'll just know and be able to make a sale for you. Tip number 5 is to listen to feedback, but don't take it personally. I mean, just this morning on Etsy, I actually had a review of this woman saying that my keyrings were too small for the price. It was £7. But at markets, I've been told that my keyrings are too big, and maybe too big to carry around on your keys, and do I have any smaller keyrings? So you really can't please everyone. I find that you really do develop a thick skin from doing markets. I mean, people will just throw anything at you. The amount of times people have told me my stuff is too expensive, who would buy that, it's too much colour. Some guy even asked me at a market the other month, oh, do you just buy all this stuff from China and then resell it? And I was like, no, it's all handmade. And he was like, what, you make it yourself? And I was like, yes, in my bedroom. I also found that online, my best sellers are my dungaree earrings, whereas at markets in person, people don't really like the dungarees. I don't know what it is, if people think they're too big or too much. Like, I don't know what it is. I think maybe online I have a more specific audience versus just the general public. One of my best sellers at markets are my mystery bags. People love mystery bags. And also my pins are a best seller, and it could be because these are my lowest priced items, but you really just can't judge it. And then sometimes you'll get a customer who comes along who doesn't care about the price of your items, they just love everything, and if they make a big purchase, it's the best feeling ever. Tip number 6 is to engage with your customers and perhaps non-customers. I know that some customers don't like to chat, they just like to browse, but from doing more and more markets, you really kind of get the sense of who maybe would want to talk and who doesn't really want to talk. Just like any retail job, you'll find yourself repeating the same things like, oh, wasn't that storm last week really bad? Or have you got yourself all prepared for Christmas? But like, I love talking to people. I mean, I literally do social media, so you can probably tell I like to have a wee conversation. I personally like to start off with a wee hello and, saying, oh, how are you? Just to let you know everything's all handmade by myself. And it's actually really surprising the amount of people that are shocked that everything's handmade. Like, I don't know if they think that maybe I'm just like a retail person selling the products, or I don't know what it is, but people are always so surprised. And then you get the people who go, oh, well done you, but like they don't mean it in a bad way, but it's like, yes, like actually well done me, like I'm coming to this market, I'm putting myself out there, I've made everything like by myself So yeah, actually, yeah, thank you. Well done, me. I know some people think that that's really patronising, and I know like sometimes it can be, but you know, it's nice to pat yourself on the back. Also, I have definitely had a lot of orders just off the back of starting a conversation. I've had people who were maybe ready to walk away, and then I'll have interacted with them and said, okay, how you doing? And then they go, oh, are you Irish? And I'm like, yeah. And then they go, oh my god, like my boyfriend's Irish, or my granny's Irish. Like one girl actually said to me, oh my god, well now I have to buy something because you're Irish. And I was like, thank you. I also saw on Twitter literally yesterday that people were engaged in this discourse about especially at Comic Cons. This person spoke out and said that they went up to their favourite artist who they'd followed on social media for ages, and the artist was actually quite rude and off-putting and didn't really speak to them when they bought a keyring. And it just made me think, like, if you have the capacity to be nice to someone, like you could really make their day just by asking about them. You don't know how many people they're going to speak to that day, and I myself am neurodivergent, so like I totally get it. But you know, if you have the capacity, totally just be nice. A wee smile, a wee conversation, it'll definitely help boost your sales and make someone feel nice. Tip number 7 is when applying to craft markets, don't feel disheartened if you get rejected. I'm so used to rejection. I'm an actor as well, so I do a lot of auditions, a lot of self-tapes. Totally used to it. I send off the self-tape and just completely forget about it. Sometimes it's hard, especially if it's a big one, whether that's a big audition or a big market, but you just have to put in your application and try and focus on other things. Also, I've had times where I've applied to a certain type of market, like a certain company, and been accepted and then reapplied because it was a good market, and been rejected 3 or 4 times in a row. And for this particular market, I just got accepted again last week. So really there's no rhyme or reason to an exception or a rejection. It all depends on how many people apply, whether they want new traders, old traders, whether they have stuff similar to you, if people got in before you. It is not a reflection on if you are good enough. Also try and find markets that appeal to you and your niche and who you want to sell to. I know this might be difficult if you're just starting out and you don't know of many markets, but once you do one market and you can speak to other stallholders, people are so nice and people want to share information, so you will find out about so many other markets in your area, or maybe just a bit further than you, or what ones are good, what ones aren't good. You'll find out a lot. I find the markets that I personally do best at are the ones with lots of tourists. I find that my products are really small, so if there's like an American tourist going back to America, they well, they would be if they're American, you know, they can take a pair of earrings in their hand luggage or their bag. Like, it's not going to take up a lot of room. Also, markets where people pay to get in are often more expensive, but I find them a lot better. They're often advertised really well on social media, and people are going into that market. Say if they have to pay £2, £3.50 to get in, they're gonna spend money at the stalls. My worst ones, again, me personally, have been in shopping centres. I don't know what it is. People are going to shopping centres to buy from like Primark, H&M. I don't think they're going, me personally, to buy a £15 pair of earrings when they can buy a £2 pair of earrings from Primark. I did a market in Westfield, London 2 years ago, and it didn't go well at all. And I said, it's fine, you know, maybe it was just that particular day. So then I reapplied for the next year, and it didn't go well at all. And after that I was like, okay, maybe this isn't for me. I always try and do a particular market twice, unless it's like utterly catastrophic and I had the worst day of my life, but I will try and do it more than once. Tip number 8 is do a stock check after your market, please. Oh my goodness, do not be like me. I literally had this happen last week where I was doing all my Christmas markets. I had all these Christmas orders to pack and send out, and I literally didn't do a stock check after a market because I was so busy, and of course I sold a pin that I sold out of at the market, so that was a bit stressful. Luckily my mum had stock of it, so bless her, she packed it up, posted it. I felt really bad because I was panicking so much, and I was texting her being like, do you have this in the stock? Do you have it? Do you have it? And she was like, yes. So yeah, thanks mum for that. In addition to this, when you make a sale, you can write down in the notes app on your phone or in a wee notebook what you sell. In the card reader that I have, I use Zettle. It will tell you like how many customers you had that day, but it doesn't tell you, you know, what exactly you sold unless you set that up. For example, I just have it set up to like pin. So I just click pin when someone buys a pin. I don't have it set up to like frog pin, lemon pin, lime pin, just because I sell so many different types that I didn't do that. And also, when someone wants to buy something, if there's like a lot of people, I don't want to have to be searching for like lemon pin or whatever. But maybe that's a goal for 2025, is to do that. But yeah, the way it works for me is fine, but you might be different. That's totally okay. Tip number 9 is to be as organised as you can be. And I say as you can be because I am a chronic last minute person. I have ADHD, so I find this like really, really difficult. Even when I was in school, I would only pack my school bag the morning of, and markets are no different. But this all came crashing down a couple of weeks ago when I was going to a market, and setup was from 8 with the market opening at 10. I got there at 7:50 and they were having an issue, like not the organizer's fault, like it was completely fine, but they were having an issue where the tables and gazebos were running late. So I didn't get to set up until 9, which was like an hour and 10 minutes after I arrived. So I was just sitting talking to other traders. But when I went to set up at 9, I realised I'd forgotten the leg of like my wooden stands that I was talking about earlier, and I need this wooden stand. Like there was no way my setup would be complete without this leg of the wooden stand. Many times am I going to say wooden stand? Now luckily this market was quite close to where I was staying, so I could have just walked back, but then I was like, I need to set up. It takes me like honestly like 40-50 minutes to set up. I also couldn't get an Uber because there were roadworks everywhere, so my only option was to get on a Lime bike. I don't know if you know what a Lime bike is, but they're these particular bikes in London that are like electrified. Okay, they're not electrified, they're electric bikes, and they're absolutely horrifying. And you like download the app on your phone, and then you can just pay, you know, for as long as it takes you to do the bike ride. And I was on call to my mum at the time, and also, why are Lime bikes so heavy? I was trying to like maneuver it onto the road, and I felt like I literally couldn't even lift it, and I was like, how am I even meant to get on this? Anyway, please like be safe when you're on the road. But I was cycling up the road to get this stand, and then I was cycling back, and then there were all these like cars on the road, and I was like, this is actually horrifying. I'm never ever going on a Lime bike again. And then I had to like leave it somewhere, and then you're meant to like take a photo of it. So then I got off it and took a photo, and it said I couldn't park it there, and I was like, what do you mean? It's on like the footpath. So then I had to move it to somewhere that, oh my god, horrifying. Anyway, made it back in time to set up, but yeah, really scary. Don't recommend. I will now be packing the night before. Also, another thing to bring: portable chargers. They will save your life. And snacks. Bring as many snacks as you can fit in your bag. They're long days, especially when you're standing there. If it's outside in the cold, bring chocolate and sugar. I'm not even joking. Also, if it's in the winter season, scarf, hat, gloves. It's cold when you don't move. You can even get those reusable and rechargeable hand warmers. Totally recommend. Definitely get them. Tip number 10 is have different ways to pay. Bring cash, but specifically bring 50p's, £1 coins and £5 notes, because a lot of people will just pay a £20 note, and then you're fishing through your wee like bum bag to get all these £1 coins, and you don't want to have to turn down a sale just because you don't have the change. Also, card reader, absolute essential. Basically couldn't do a market without a card reader. I personally use a Zettel card reader. I prefer it to a SumUp and the Square reader, just because I like the buttons on it. I don't know, I think I'm a bit weird. I just like the physical buttons. And also, I used to be a shop girl in clubs, and I used to use a SumUp and I hated it. But I also think that's because I didn't really like working in clubs that much, so I just associate it with the SumUp. So sorry, SumUp. Apologies. Tip number 11 is to take as many photos and videos as you can at the market. Even if you don't sell things or it doesn't really go the way that you wanted it to go, if you have videos, you can repurpose that into content. I know, talking about content, I know. But online marketing is the way to get sales. The amount of sales I've gotten from TikTok is crazy, and it's really sad that TikTok will be banned in America. Hopefully that's sorted out, but I'm not holding out much hope. But anyway, you can take videos of you holding the products, you can do a wee pan across the table, you can do a video of you waving from behind the table. I love these ones because then you can like start off a lot of your videos on social media with these, like, hi, this is me and I run this business. People love those videos and I love seeing them because I want to see you. If you're comfortable showing your face, I want to see who makes the products, I want to see who runs the business. Tip number 12 is don't feel pressure to do deals. People will try and haggle you down, and that's fine, okay? People love a bargain, but this isn't Vinted. You're selling your hard work. Me personally, don't give in to people haggling. I already struggle with pricing my products to make a profit, and I'm sorry, but I will not give you like a £5 discount. Sorry. When I was doing that market in Westfield, someone bought 3 pins and wanted a discount of like £3, and I panicked and just went, yeah, okay. And that table was already so expensive. It was like over £100 or something. So yeah, not great. Also, we were literally in a shopping centre. I was like, are you gonna go into Primark and haggle the price of a jumper down? Like, I'm sorry, but that's just the price of the product. You have table costs to cover, you have materials to cover, you've your time that you spent making it, you have your transport, your travel, all of this. And this isn't me having to go at anybody who does do deals. I personally just don't do it. So now I just politely apologise and say, no, like, everything's handmade by me and some items on the table are actually cheaper than what I offer them online for, which is true. I mean, some of my earrings, my most expensive earrings, I will sell for 50p or £1 cheaper than what I do online, just because you don't have Etsy fees and stuff like that, so it really works out about the same price. Also, don't be scared to lose the sale. I literally had this happen where some guy wanted to buy 2 pins the other week and he asked for £2 off, and I just said, look, I'm really sorry, but no, that's unfortunately the price they are. And he just went, fair enough, and he paid it. So more often than not, if someone has the product in their hand, they're probably gonna pay for it. Ultimately, the most important thing about craft markets is going and getting your name out there, getting the retail experience, talking to other crafters, learning tips and tricks from them, you know, learning about more opportunities. But don't feel pressure to do anything you don't want to do. Don't feel pressure to buy things. I mean, I'm almost 5 years in and I don't have a proper banner, which, okay, is on my #1 priority list for 2025. But if you have the choice between like a £40 fabric banner or buying 2 big stands that will elevate your display, buy the stands. You can always print out, you know, I mean, obviously these are my business cards, but you can always print out a banner and just stick that on, and that will make do until you have the funds to get yourself a proper banner. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you have any more questions about craft markets, or if I didn't mention anything, please pop it in the comments and I will try and answer to the best that I can. I will go into so much detail because I love to talk. Anyway, thank you so much, and I hope you had a great Christmas or a great holiday season. I'm going to try and post a video every Wednesday on my Jammy Weekend channel, so subscribe if you would like to see some studio vlogs and just other tips and tricks or behind the scenes of running a small business. Cheers! Bye!